BitcoinSoul.org, the Asian Whale Club for Bitcoin traders with over 50 Bitcoin in play. Okay, let's do a metal technical analysis and a edgeless technical analysis. We're not going to spend much time on edgeless because both situations apply equally. In other words, what I'm going to say about metal applies equally to what I'm going to say about edgeless. So, metal. This was the trend line before Bitcoin started having its shenanigans. Bam! And it dropped right back down to before metal got its big spike. It was going to keep bouncing up on this trend line. So basically, this would be normal. Metal should have been going this way. This would have been the normal thing to do. But because the bottom dropped out of Bitcoin, we ended up going sideways. Now, here's the thing about going sideways. If you look at this angle, and if you look at Bitcoin's chart, which, let's see, I don't have here. If you look at Bitcoin's chart looks like this. So what does that tell you? If you studied any geometry or physics, you got one vector going this way, one vector going this way. They both are 90 degrees, opposed to each other, 90 degrees. So you end up going sideways. So basically, if mom's pulling you this way and dad's pulling you this way, then you're going to go sideways on this, right? So this is exactly what's been happening. Notice what's happening now, though. It dipped at Bitcoin's worst, and now it's returning back to its sideways action. What it's got to do now, all it's got to do now, is jump from here, 257, up to the regular trend line. And by the time it does that, it's going to take some more time, right? It's going to move to the right a little bit more while moving up, because Bitcoin's action now is starting to go this way. And because Bitcoin's starting to go 45 degrees, and the original action of metal was 45 degrees, you're almost going to get a 90-degree upward vector. So that means that very quickly we're going to rise right back up to its former trend line. And when that happens, we're looking at going from 25 all the way up to past 36, go up here. This is 30, this is 36, this is going to be about 40. So we're going to go from 25 to 40, so that's not quite double. It would be 50. 50 would be like right up here. 50 would be up here. So it's going to be right, not quite double. But remember, that's only returning back to its baseline. Remember, that's only returning back to this particular trend line. Metal, being as badass as it is going to take off above its trend line and do this. So easily, metal is going to double. Still easily, metal is going to triple. And let's go, oh, and remember, I'm going to show you what the catalyst to all this was. Remember these two blue lines that are equal length, okay? And I'm going to zoom into this in a second. Hold on. Okay, zoomed in. Remember these two blue lines that we promised we'd zoom into? They're exactly the same length. Why? Because as you see, there's an inverse head and shoulders here. Inverse head and shoulders on the 30-minute scale, 30-minute candle. So what that means, if you look at the right shoulder, it's smaller than the left shoulder of the inverse head and shoulders, which means that the down action is less and the up action is more. So there's more upward buoyancy. It's like riding a longboard not in Hawaii, but riding a longboard in like, I don't know, Tahiti. Well, Tahiti's got big waves too, so Lake Tahoe, riding a longboard in Lake Tahoe. You can't help but make it float. So why are these blue lines here? Well, when you have this happen, this is the neckline. This is where the neck and the shoulders meet, right here, this long blue line that's horizontal. You take the length from the neck to the crown of the head, the inverse, the upside down hanging bat head. This is the length that we can expect up. After this phenomenon happens, the exact same length of down is going to be mirrored, flip-flopped here. So that's why these two lengths are the same. Now, if you look here, there's two candles here. There's two candle wicks. What do those two candle wicks mean? Those two candle wicks mean that not for 30 minutes, but less than 30 minutes of time, we broke through twice. We broke through the ceiling twice. So this was the ceiling. This is the mini basement, and this is the ceiling of the first floor. And we actually broke through to the second floor. We don't quite have enough volume yet, as you can see, but see these green lines here? These green lines are a really good sign. They're green. We're starting to get more volume over time. Notice how thin it is here. Super, super thin, right? Thin, thicker, thicker, thicker. And now we got massive green lines here. relatively massive. They're going to get much bigger, and when they do, that's when you're going to start exploding. So this was the catalyst for the turnaround, the reversal, and exactly the same thing is happening on edgeless. Edgeless probably even more, probably more aggressively. It's already, we bought in like, I don't know, I don't even remember where we bought in, but we bought in really cheap, and it's doing this and it's going up, and same story. Edgeless, you're looking at about 300%.